want to welcome everybody to the 2014 SHOT Show. You are getting ready for Inside the Chamber with your host, Gary Judici. Gary, take it away.
Golly, everybody, welcome to Inside the Chamber here, coming to you live from the SHOT Show here in Las Vegas. First of all, I want to tell everyone what the SHOT Show is. I think if you're viewing, you probably have an idea, but I'm going to give you an idea of the scope of this whole show. It's a big thing. First of all, it's not open to the public, and that's unfortunate because there's so many cool things going on here that most of the public, I think if you're anyway interested in the shooting sports or the outdoors, you'd probably like to see it, but unfortunately it's not. It's open just to the trade, so we'll start with that. There's going to be probably 70,000 people here. These are dealers and buyers from all over the world, quite frankly, that come here to see the new products that manufacturers have that they're going to be selling next fall and so on. And it's a big show. There's about 12.5 miles of aisles here, if you can imagine that. There's some 1,600 booths that people have on display. If you were here and you wanted to visit every booth in the 4 days of the show, it'd almost be impossible to see everything. I mean, you would have only a few seconds, really, at each booth and then have to move on. And I tell you, some of these booths, you'd stop and you'd spend hours looking at some of the products, and Smith & Wesson would be one of those booths, I assure you. And I'm going to start right off with a good friend of mine, Tony Miele. Gosh, he's been with Smith & Wesson. I don't even want to say. Smith & Wesson started in 1852, and Tony wasn't there. You weren't there then, were you?
No, not exactly.
No. How long have you been with Smith & Wesson?
Right now, about 38 years, going on 39.
39 years? You're not even that old. What did you do? Start when you were 2?
Just about.
Were you really?
Yeah.
No, Tony's been there a long time. Tony is the director of the Performance Center. That's kind of the flagship brand, if you will, of Smith & Wesson. I mean, that's where some of my favorite firearms come out of the Performance Center.
I mean, we're taking the best product on the market and making it that much better in the Performance Center.
I kind of like to think you guys are kind of taking some of the production guns and hand tweaking them and making them even better and better.
I mean, it's really a custom gun when you think about it. So we're taking a gun off the line at some point, and then we're doing our finishing touches to it. So we're making, like I said, that gun that's already the best gun on the market even that much better.
Making it that much better. Now, part of the engraving is part of your world too, right?
We do all the Performance Center guns. We do all the classic line, and we also do the regular Performance Center guns. So we've got quite a bit of product.
You're a busy guy.
Just a little bit.
I know when I go to the plant, I want to visit with you about some issue or another. I can't ever get a hold of you.
Well, you got to call ahead.
Even that doesn't do me any good. I can't ever get a hold of you, Tony. You're the busiest guy at Smith & Wesson and a lot of responsibilities and so forth. But when I go up there, I always want to stop by and watch the engravers, do their job, because those guys are artists, it's amazing what they do. Amazing.
Yeah, they do a good job.
If somebody had a firearm and they wanted to send it in, get it tweaked, do you guys still do that?
Yeah, we do. Matter of fact, you just call our customer service area. They'll make arrangements, tell you how to get the gun back in. We can do action jobs for you. We can engrave your gun, if you, like an heirloom that you want to pass down from your family.
Yeah.
Sure. We can do all of those types of things.
Increases the value of those.
It does.
Quite a bit. It increases the value more than it costs you to get it done.
It's probably better to put your investment into a gun right now because that value just keeps going up. It gets more interest than a bank would give you.
You know what? That's what I do. At least that's what I convince my wife. That's what I convince her. How long have you been doing the Performance Center thing?
Oh, probably I think like 9 years now.
It seems like forever sometimes.
Yeah. But it's been fun. It's probably the best job I've had since I've been there, so I'm enjoying it.
You have one of the best jobs in the world, so don't. You've got one of the best jobs on the planet. Avid hunter, and you certainly love your work. I love
hunting. The product that we produce in a Performance Center is geared really towards competition and hunting, as well as self-protection. But I mean, the real deal here is competition and hunting guns.
You've got, I don't know how many new products you're introducing at this year's SHOT Show, but several. How many? Five new products here. And I've asked you to bring a couple. I don't know what you brought.
We brought a couple of the new 9mm, which is really unique for us. It's we did an 8-shot. It's a Jerry Michlik signature gun. It's an 8-shot, 9mm.
A 9mm revolver. You know, that's kind of the buzz of the show. Everywhere I go, people are talking about this silly thing. I mean, people are going crazy for this.
We had it yesterday out on the range. We had a range day. Yeah. And this was the talk of the line out there. Everybody was standing in line to shoot this gun. It's going to be great for, you know, ICOR, USPSA, Bianchi, Steel Challenge. All of those different disciplines, these guns are going to be
for competitive shooters are going to like this.
And like I said, this is the Jerry Michalik model. Comes with a 6.5-inch barrel. It's compensated.
Let's hold this thing up here where we can see it a little bit better, and let's point out some of the features that you have here.
Sure. So compensated 6.5-inch barrel.
Yeah.
It's got a glass bead finish.
Yeah.
Cuts down on any glare. Titanium cylinder makes the gun that much lighter. So you don't have that mass that when you're trying to pull a double action trigger pull through to rotate the cylinder. So it makes that already great action even feel a lot better. Hogue over molded grip. Chrome hammer, chrome trigger, as well as trigger stop. It's a performance center gun, so it leaves the company with an action package. So you can expect about a 3.5-pound single action trigger pull and around a 10-pound double action trigger pull. Once again, it's going to be great for competition.
And it's smooth. The triggers are so smooth on these performance center guns. I mean, they're just like butter.
Right.
And this, and generally you shoot these with moon clips or not?
You have to shoot the 9s with moon clips, right?
You have to have moon clips.
You have to, right.
So, I had an early sample, I have to tell you, and I took it to the range. It is sweet. And the moon clips, first thing I noticed was how easy they are to load. You know, I'm used to loading these 45 moon clips, and they get kind of tough.
Oh, yeah, the 9s.
And they wear out your fingers, but the 9s are so easy to load and unload these moon clips. And when you, and when I say that, I'm talking about loading the rounds into the moon clips. You know, it's, Jamie, Christmas, that can be a pain.
These 9s load real easy.
And unload real.
They do.
And then when it comes time to actually load the revolver, wham, it's that quick. And if you have 2 or 3 moon clips, wham, wham, wham. I mean, it is quick.
Everybody's going to be loading like Jerry.
Nobody can load like Jerry Michalik. Nobody can load like Jerry Michalik. But this is a sweetheart, recoil down to nothing, and it's just a sweet gun. Golly.
Now, this is on our end frame. For
this
those
is
people,
a large frame, the big hands.
So for those people that really don't feel comfortable shooting that size frame, we've also introduced on our L frame platform a 9mm also. So 5.5-inch tapered performance center barrel.
Let's hold this up here just a little bit so we can see it.
That's also got a titanium cylinder in it. It's a 7-shot, though, because it's an L frame. We can't get the 8th shot in there. Like I said, 5-inch tapered barrel performance center, Patridge front sight, Hogue over molded grip. This gives you the performance center mainspring, so double action trigger pull is going to be about 10 pounds. It's a Pro Series line, so you don't get the full action package, but you do get a pretty sweet package.
So this is the Pro Series line, which is, I don't want to say it's a step down from the performance center line, but it kind of is.
We give you some of the performance center features, not all of them, but you don't have to pay that little bit extra money either.
Well, and it's got kind of some advantages that the performance center line doesn't. It's smaller, for one thing. Recoil's not going to be there. It's got the same trigger for all practical purposes, right?
It does.
And still the moon clip, so you can the fast reload and so on. And it feels good. This thing feels good. And again, we had some of these early back at my office, so we took them to the range. Folks, I can't tell you how sweet these things shoot. I can't tell you how sweet these things shoot. You don't need to be a competitive shooter to enjoy these, Tony.
No, I tell you what, in 9mm, it's readily available. It's less expensive to shoot, so if you just enjoy going out plinking, going to the range for a day, these are going to be great guns for that, too.
Do you find yourself taking these out? I know you belong to a gun club there close to your office. I know that because I've been out to the club with you. Do you find yourself going out after work?
I spend a lot of time on the range. That's what I enjoy doing, so that's what we're doing. And I'll tell you what, we're going to give these a workout this year. I do plan on shooting a lot more ICOR this year, and that's going to be my choice of gun.
This one right here.
This one here,
the bigger one. Wow, these are sweet. These are so sweet. You guys, once again, the Performance Center comes through, and I know you've got some other guns. One of the ones that kind of caught my eye was that 460. Can you talk a little bit about that one?
Yeah, that 460 is new for us this year. It's a 3.5-inch Performance Center taper barrel. Once again, all glass bead finish. It has the unfluted cylinder. The gun's going to be great, especially for like Alaska, sticking in your backpack or something if you're out in dangerous, game area.
If you're a fly fisher in Alaska, that you got to kind of think about that. In Alaska, things will eat you.
Yep. Now, I'm going to do a bear hunt this year. I'm going to do it with a 500, the 7.5-inch Performance Center 500, but I'm going to take that 460 in a chest holster, and that's going to be my backup gun.
Wow. When you look at a 460 as a backup, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
What about recoil on that thing?
I'll tell you what, people look at it and go, oh my God, I don't want to shoot that. If you shoot this gun, it's heavy enough so the recoil it's manageable. It's got 3 different calibers you can shoot, so you can shoot 45 long Colt, 454 Casull, or you can shoot the 460. So multiple cartridges out of the same gun.
A 454 Casull is a light load.
Well, the 45 long Colt is a light load.
That'd be like you work your way up. 22,
it is,
22 long rifle out of that thing.
Wide cutters,
Oh, dude, Christmas. Revolvers have come a long way. And in handgun hunting, as it grows in popularity, some of these performance center handguns have just taken it to a whole new level. And I've become that's about all I hunt with anymore is a handgun.
I haven't used a rifle, I can't tell you how many years. So, I hunt Africa, and I'm going to go back there again this year, and the only thing I bring with me is revolvers.
Wow.
Yep.
I can't tell you how much I enjoy hunting with revolvers, and now I'm putting EOTechs on them, and I started with open sights. My eyes have gotten to where that's not working out so well for me now. So then I went to optics. Now I'm using EOTechs on them, and it's just working out great for me. I love hunting with a revolver. Folks, if you haven't hunted with a revolver, you need to look at some of this performance center line, and not just the new guns, but the ones that have been out for a while, because Tony and the guys have just made it unbelievably slick and easy. I mean, and these things we're talking about, you got to go to the range, you got to practice and so forth, but 100-yard shots are nothing to these guys. Nothing. I mean, it just works out extremely well for them and so on. So, Tony, you've been hunting for how many years? Forever?
Oh, I mean, since I was in high school. I used to get off the bus and grab my shotgun and go bird hunting.
Well, I know that you hunt all over the world now. I mean, when you were a kid, you weren't able to do that, but now...
No, now I get around a little bit. And
yeah, your
nice,
job carries you
nice,
several different continents. I remember you were off to Australia one year, and then you were off to... I don't even remember where all you've been. I can't keep up.
Yeah.
It's no wonder I can't get a hold of you.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, the performance center gun, especially the 460, it's a nice flat shooting gun. You talked about the yardages. I sight the gun in at about 150 yards. I mean, that gun just shoots flat. So, I mean, it's great for plains game.
In Africa?
It is. And, the 500's taking Cape Buffalo. It's taking elephant. So, I mean, these guns are capable of taking the big game, too. So you can't be afraid. I mean, if you want to hunt Africa, South Africa, I mean, that's the way to do it with a handgun. Try that.
On a recent trip to Africa myself, I took a rifle and a handgun. And, gosh, I wish I'd have used my handgun more. I used it a lot, but I wish I'd used it more. My next trip's going to be just with a handgun.
I don't blame you. It's a lot of fun.
And, some countries are now amending their laws to where you can use a handgun. They're coming around, and that's good.
Well, South Africa, the only limitation on a handgun is bringing a handgun in, you have to have optics with the gun. So it has to have optics mounted on the gun to be able to go in.
Yep. And EOTechs count, all the optics count. So it's good. And you know what? It's not a bad idea anyway on these things. And with the performance center, it's easy to put mounts on, put optics on there. Most of them come with the mounts already built on.
They do.
You just put the rings on and go. You do a lot of whitetail hunting as well, don't you?
Yeah, I love deer hunting. Like I said, any North American game, I'm up for the challenge. If you want to go, just invite me. I'm sure I can find some time to squeeze you in.
You know what? If I get a hold of you, I'd invite you. We do go on a few hunts, Tony.
We do. Another new gun we did this year was the 629 8-3.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that one.
Gun, and that was really geared towards North American time hunting, specifically pig hunting. Though I mean, that's become so popular. We put a rail on the bottom, so you can mount accessories. You can put a light on the bottom.
Yeah.
You put a red dot on top of it, and it makes just a great gun for pig hunting.
And it's lighter, smaller.
Yeah, I mean, it's 44 Magnums, and I've taken the gun pig hunting already. It's done a great job on the game. We always want quick, clean kills, and the gun's up for the challenge. It's
important. 44 Magnum is probably the perfect pig round, I would say.
Yeah.
Feral hogs are, as everyone knows, are just taking over the world. I mean, my goodness, back where I live, there's millions and millions of them, and we hunt them all the time because, I love them because there's no seasons and you can do what you want. Sure. You can hunt them, but where I live, at least, you got to check your local laws and so on. But where I live, you hunt them at night. You can do whatever you want.
Right.
And ranchers are wanting rid of them. And, boy, we do our best. And they're pretty tasty, too.
They are.
We get after them. And that 44 Magnum is the way to go.
Yeah. And, don't be afraid. Whitetail, elk, I mean, that 44 Magnum will take any of that
44
game.
is a good one, and that new gun, take a look at it. When are these guns going to be available?
Actually, right now they're all available. We will be shipping starting this week.
Wow.
Now that we've introduced officially at the SHOT Show, so we're ready to go, and we hope everybody enjoys these guns.
Tony, golly, once again, buddy, it's always good to see you. I hope to see you on the hunt out in the field real soon, and we'll get together and try out some more of these guns.
We'll go out and get some of those pigs.
Let's get some of them.
Yeah.
Again, Tony Miele, thank you so much for joining us here on the broadcast. Folks, we got some very important messages we're going to cut to, but we'll be back right after that with Michael Wydell, who's going to join us, talk about some of his exploits out in the field, and we'll be with you in just a moment or two. Thank